folks, today I'm going to be showing you how to strip all the trim pieces off of your 2002 to 2007 Subaru Impreza WRX or STI in preparation for painting the whole car. So this is my project car. It is a 2007 STI. You would not guess it by looking at it, but it is in fact 2007, and I have put a 2002 Bug-Eye front end on it. Most of these tips are going to be not specific to any model year, any 2002, 2000 to 2007 GD chassis, Impreza, WRX, or STI. You'll be able to follow these steps and strip all the trim off and get it ready for paint. So before we get into it, I should emphasize I am not a auto body guy. I don't do body work, I don't do paint. So it could be that I'm giving you some advice that is not so great. If you've got friend, uncle, whoever who is a expert on this stuff and they tell you otherwise, then maybe believe them over me. And if I'm definitely doing anything really wrong in this video, appreciate if you could drop into the comments and let me know. So these are all the tools I accumulated over the course of this whole process. We've got long curved needle nose pliers, we've got a whole bunch of picks, we have 3/8 drive ratchet, long extension, short extension, 10mm, 12mm, 14mm sockets for that. I also used a 13 only because I have the gas spring hood lifts, and those use a 13mm headed bolt for whatever reason. And then we've got our 3/8, half-inch, quarter-inch driver bits, Phillips driver bit. We've got a 10mm and an 8mm quarter-inch drive socket, a long quarter-inch drive extension, quarter-inch ratchet wrench. We have a tire lever, a trim tool, scraper piece, 10mm ratchet, 10mm combination wrench, stubby flathead, long flathead, stubby Phillips head, magnetic retriever, very handy for when you drop a bolt down into the door, which happens several times. Trim tool, this was useful a couple times. Trim tool, this was useful about 100 times. And the mini ratchet set, which I honestly only used a couple times, but it was really handy when I did need to use it. And then on top of that, we've got the 19mm socket and the lug nut key to take the wheels off. And that is about it. Glass cleaner, acetone, whole bunch of paper towels, whole bunch of rags. Now if you have one of these cars, you almost certainly also have a trunk leak, so as part of this I'm going to be cleaning all this out and seeing if I can figure out exactly where that leak is coming from on mine. As of right this moment it's not obvious, but I definitely have water pooling down here that I can see after I pulled off that seal. I think there's supposed to be nuts on these little studs here, but they're missing on mine, so I'll have to replace those. And this is just held on with these 4 tabs here. Go into these 4 spots. that, you know, it's not actually unless it's just tucked. We'll pull this whole piece out now. I'll go ahead and do the other side, which looks like it's about the same. Now we got to get the trunk lock cylinder off. It's got like a, how to describe it, sheet metal retaining clip thing that holds that on there. You're not going to be able to see, which, if I'm remembering right, is a pain in the ass to get off. Let's see if I can just kind of wiggle it. I'm trying to do this without accidentally cutting my hand open. So all these edges are very sharp. There we go. Just pry that off there with the needle nose. And the cylinder is loose, but of course I forgot to detach the rod on the back first. Right here. There's a little orange clip. We gotta snap that off by rotating that counterclockwise, I think. Yep, and then that falls right off. So that's off there. And we should be able to just pull this lock cylinder right on out. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove this emergency release handle here. Which I think this just slides right out. And that should just come out like that. I think that's about all we need to do in the back, other than some cleanup, which I'm not going to bother to film. So my strategy here is going to be probably to focus on getting the driver's side taken care of first. So I've parked the car well off to the right in my garage to give me a lot of breathing room over here. And then once I've got everything done on the driver's side, I will shift the car a couple feet over to the left and then take care of the passenger side. Alright, next we've got this roof vane spoiler thing. There is a single clip right back here. There we go. Beautiful. Now when I do the other side, I'll put a piece of tape on this first so it doesn't go flying. But there you go. We just got these two screws here. I'm guessing there's some glue. Yeah, there's probably some glue in that interface, so I'm gonna need to... Oh, yeah, that's just gonna separate, just like that. So I'm just gonna have to do this process on the other side, and then pull this off, and then clean off all the adhesive goop that's under it. It's always good to stay organized. I like to use these little cheap Ziplocs. Put some Sharpie on there. Put all of our screws and clips in there, and we'll know how to put it back together. Alright, and then I got the other side loose, and this thing just comes right off. It does have a couple of little alignment pins here, which they look pretty fragile, so be careful. And because this is a stock OEM spoiler installation, it looks like the threaded insert is just integral with the body here, so I don't need to worry about a nut or anything on the inside. And I just need to clean off this adhesive goop. And actually, that seems like this is going to come off a lot easier than I thought. I just started picking at it with a paper towel, and it's pretty much just peeling off. The one piece came off just all in one piece. Just going to gently pull this off, and we'll have less residue left over so I don't have to use chemicals as much. These have got a very different kind of condition to them. One is all washed out and one is still pretty glossy. So between this and what I'm about to show you, I think this indicates that one of these has been replaced. I think the roof vane has been removed at some point when a previous owner crashed the car, as so many of them did. So on this side it's different. We got this foam crud which is really well stuck on there, and this is gonna suck to get off. Alright, got this pretty well cleaned up. I just ended up using my fingernails to very painstakingly pick all of the adhesive backed foam off of there, which took a good 10 minutes, and then once I had all the solid pieces off, I was able to use acetone to get the bulk of it off. Rubbing alcohol didn't really do anything, and then I did do a final pass with a little bit of lighter fluid, and I think that stuff works, but it definitely took some paint off, so I would recommend acetone probably, and definitely don't do any of this if you're not getting the car immediately painted. Alright, next I'm going to work on this top trim piece. I don't know what you call this exactly. You're not really going to be able to see exactly what I'm doing. I can barely see what I'm doing. There's quite a few videos out there showing how this works, so you could take a look at those if you want to get some better angles. But basically we have a series of clips, like about 5 or 6 clips along the upper portion that work one way, and then we have a few clips going down the back window that are completely different and are removed in a completely different way. So starting at the top, I have done this once before, but it's been like almost 10 years. It was on my previous car. But you've got a clip every, foot or so, and the way these work is you have to slide them backwards, and then that releases a pin and this thing just pulls straight up. So it's hard to see the clip. Let's see if I can use this bike tire tool to actuate this first one. Can't really even see it in there. Just barely, so it's right about here. I think that slid backwards there. Alright, I'm going to switch to a metal implement. See that moving? You might not be able to see it, but it's moving a little bit. There it goes. That one went back pretty easy. There's a fourth. This one's fighting a little bit more, but it seems like it's going to go. And one more here. There that gun goes. I think that might be it for this style. Yeah, all I see now is just dirt and crud in here. It's gonna be real gross. And now we're on to the plastic ones. Alright, so let's see if this will lift off. Okay, so that one finally is released, and now you can see the clip. So you can see it's got this slot here. It's been at a little bit of an angle. And this can slide freely. Freely is a relative term. And then it gets onto this little peg, and then this pin just goes straight into that little bushing type thing. So you can see the next one down there. That one's hanging on. Okay, I just need it a little bit further. That one's free, that one's free, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth one is down here somewhere. Right there. Give that a little bit more of a nudge. Okay. Okay, so these next ones are plastic, and you're supposed to come in from the window side. And then there's a little tab on either side of it that you're supposed to push down into the car. So I'm going to grab my screwdriver and see if I can do that. And you can kind of see the clip showing through this side now that the trim piece is lifted off a little bit. It's really hard to see just because of how much shit is in there. Okay, so that one's off, and it's not into the car. I misspoke. It's towards you, so you can see the clip here, and by pushing it towards me, that will release it. The next one has already let go because it has been left behind on the car. And actually this trim piece is in pretty bad shape. We've got a dent here, it's like got a little bit of damage on the edge here. So I might end up just replacing it entirely, but that is a problem for another day. Release the one side. Release the other side, that came off, no problem. And then we got one more. And this one you can actually see a little bit better. So get in there. See that little blue bit right at my fingertip? You can push that towards the outside of the car. It's different on the bottom. This is not the exact same clip. Okay, I see it now. It's further down, just hidden behind some crud. There it is. This one does work the same. It's just, it's hard to see. All right. So that is that. This whole piece comes off. So you can see I've got a broken clip for the fourth one on here, and the fifth one stayed behind on the car, but looks like it's mostly intact. So we can snap that back into the rail, which it snaps right back in. And then here's the other clip, and this is kind of nice actually because now you can see what it looks like without the piece in place. So you're just coming in from the outside, push that in, and give it a little bit of upward pressure to keep that from snapping right back. And then this one, same thing, push it in, comes right off. This one is also in halfway decent shape, so I will just put it right back into the track here for now so I don't lose it. And you can see there's these little studs there, that actually engage with this center bit of the clip. So before you put the trim back on, you got to make sure these are all lined up with where they want to go. So now I'm going to take this off and then go through here, vacuum this all out, clean it all out, and we're on to the next thing. So I'm not going to put any footage of me cleaning in this video, but I did want to point out what I'm doing here actually. Once I vacuumed out all the crud out of this this groove here, I'm using this stuff. I use this mostly obviously for glass cleaning. I've been using it forever, but it also is really good for loosening up and cleaning caked on dirt like this. It's really mild, it's not going to affect the paint, and I'm just going to go through and just spray a nice thick layer all the way down, let that sit for a few minutes and soak in, and then wipe and spray and wipe and spray and wipe until it comes clean. Next cleaning tip, save your old toothbrushes. This isn't even an old one. I don't know why I had it in my drawer of tools, but they will come in handy because there's a lot of nooks and crannies in here that you're just not really going to easily be able to get to with a rag. Look at that. Brilliant. Alright, I'm over here on the passenger side, and something important I've just discovered that is maybe not obvious is actually these clips are all the same left and right, which means that you actually have to slide it the other direction when you're on this side, so it needs to slide to your right. Yep, wants to go to the right. And this method of just kind of sliding the screwdriver along here until I find it is working really well. I'm liking this better than the little pick I was using on the other side. These are going way easier as well. This is a great tool, by the way, for this kind of project. This is just a bike tire lever for like a bicycle tire. You can get a whole pack of these for a couple bucks on Amazon. And even if you don't have any bikes, this will come in handy for all kinds of car stuff. Look at that. Nice and clean. I realize you can't see any of this once the trim piece is installed, so it's like, why does it matter? Well, I want the paint to stick down here too, so it doesn't start to crack and bubble up and fail down here and then propagate out onto the rest of the car where you can see it. So I think it's important to get every little nook and cranny as clean as you reasonably can. Alright, and then we go on to the doors. It's honestly going to be my least favorite part of this whole process, I'm sure. I've done this a few times, but it doesn't really make it more fun. We need to take off the window trim, the door handle, the side mirror, pull off this interior trim, I guess you call it a door card, and then the end of it we need to put the mirror back on so that I can legally drive the thing up to the paint shop. First we got this little triangular piece that's actually just pries off. You just pull it, no tools required. Just gently snap that off. And then underneath here we've got 1, 2 Phillips heads. There's another one hidden in there, and then we got this guy out here. So this is a really cool tool. It's a electric screwdriver. It's got a gyroscope, so you hold the button here to activate it, and then it detects whether you turn left or right, and it will turn at increasing speed the further you turn it. The version I bought has got the removable battery, and this is kind of a weird thing. DeWalt made this nice 8-volt rechargeable battery, but this is the only tool they make that this goes with, so they've missed a huge opportunity to have a line of kind of smaller form factor tools. I'm thinking specifically electric ratchet wrench, but there's nothing else available in their catalog that actually uses this battery. They recently have released a version of this that's just USB-C chargeable, which I think is way better. I swear there's another one in here, but maybe it's something else. And of course this one is just like way over tightened. I know I've removed this before. I don't remember tightening the absolute hell out of it. So here's another really cool tool set I've got in my toolbox. This is a mini ratchet made by a company called Wadsworth. This is a extremely compact little ratchet wrench that you just fit any number of sockets. We got Torx, hex, Phillips, flathead, metric, and imperial in here, and just take our bit, snap that shut. And then the direction it ratchets is dependent on which end you put the bit in. You can put it from this way or that way. And then hopefully, if I can push this in really hard while trying to turn it, we'll get it to break loose. It's moving. Now what's really cool is that we can then take this bit and you can either put it into this extension, which will then slide into the handle, or can be used in conjunction with the ratcheting handle, or just put the bit straight into this handle. Now we've got a stubby wrench, stubby screwdriver I should say. It doesn't quite fit the way I like. Let's see if the extension will make this better. This snaps into there, that snaps into there. Now you got a screwdriver. Look at that. Beautiful. That one is out. I think the mirror is still attached. There is something else holding it in, and I think I can't access it until I get the door card off. So we'll do that next. Before we can take the door card off, we've got to take a couple screws out. So there's one down here under this little cute little plastic flip cover. I think that's very easy to break, so be very careful. Another Phillips head, which for the record is my least favorite kind of screw head. But I'm going to save you from that rant for now. There's one up here inside the upper handle thing. Get that out of there. So this assembly I think just snaps out now. I'm going to want to leave this attached when I take it to the body shop so they can move the windows up and down. You're also going to see that we need to move the windows up and down to get the handle off, the outer handle. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull that. There we go. Okay. So that right there, that little hole snaps underneath here, and then these two snap up here. Okay, so that's free now. Pull these connectors out. Wow, this is just stupid. Alright, I got it finally. It took way too long. These little snaps on the side are not actually what you squeeze together to remove the connector. It's actually this stupid little tab right here. It hooks right under here. So you have to somehow shove that inward while pulling outward. And thank you, Subaru. So then we can move on to the door card itself, which is really just held on with snaps around the perimeter. So you just got to find a good spot to get your prying implement underneath. Which could be easier said than done, but this really just comes off with a bunch of snaps. So I'm just going to hold that open with my small screwdriver. Come back in here. Ideally find a spot close to the snap and then just pry it close to the snap so that you don't bend the door card too much in this process. There we go. I think that's all of them. Now it's loose. Alright, finally, actually removing the door card. There we go. As you can see, this door has had quite a life. At one point it was white, and somebody has painted it red. So hopefully the paint shop will sand the ever-loving hell out of this and get it good and ready for the next layer. And then there's that fourth Phillips head. It's just inside that little oval shaped pocket. Of course it drops into the door. Okay, well it's hanging on for a second. We gotta disconnect this guy. Which of course is another pain in the ass connector Subaru and their infinite wisdom decided to use here. Bad, 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 bad. Why are you so worried about this connector coming loose? Why does it have to take so much effort? Bad. Okay. Mirror is off. Alright, exterior door handle. You got these two access holes. You can see the one 10mm head on that screw there. We also need to disconnect this little translucent white clip off of the rod there, so that just rotates counterclockwise to release the rod, and then I'm going to loosen that screw, and then we're going to have to roll the window up to get to the other one. You'll also notice that the plastic film that normally is in here has all been removed already. Like I said, I've already replaced this door. The door it came with, the car came with, was really beyond saving, so I put this red door on it, and I did not put the plastic wrap back on it on purpose because I knew I was just going to have to do this again when I got the car painted. But it peels right off. It leaves this horrible black residue behind. As you can see, you get it all over yourself, and it is really hard to wash off, and it gets on everything, so be careful. Probably wear gloves, like I'm not doing. Get that just in there far enough to actuate the windows. Now we can access the second 10mm head bolt. Not a 10mm bolt. People always call them these 10mm bolts because they have to use 10mm wrench. It's probably an M8 or an M6. It has a 10mm hex. It's not a 10mm bolt. I can't actually get the ratchet on that, so maybe I can. Not enough clearance for a ratchet wrench. Bad design. Handle assembly's loosening. I do have some ratcheting single wrenches. I don't know what you call those. I think my 10 might be broken, so I'm just going to do this the hard way with a regular old box end wrench. Should be able to get the rest with my finger here. These clips. This is the first one I loosened. See if I can come in from behind. I cannot because the window's there now. Just pop that rod loose. One for the lock cylinder. And then this. I think I can just actually pivot the whole thing. Oh, there goes lock cylinder. And then we gotta unsnap the green thing. Hopefully without breaking it. There we go. And there we go. So there is our handle assembly and our lock cylinder. Closes pretty normally, and you just pull up on this rod, or push down I should say, and that will open it. So this edge trim is a combination of clips that you unsnap, and also these little retainers, and if you're really gentle with this you can get this off without tearing the seal. It's a little bit tricky, but basically what you do is you pull it one way and that will release one side of the clip. Pull it gently to the left and pull away. Now that little tang is out, and then it just slips off to the right. So this is like a little double barbed piece. There's a whole bunch of them, so just repeat that same pattern. Pull and pull. Pull one way, pull out, push back. If you're not gentle with this, this can tear the rubber. So you want to just take your time. There's a lot of them. Once you do a few, you kind of get into a rhythm. Then we've got a clip here that we need to pry off. Pull that guy out of there. Then we got one on this corner as well. One around the corner as well. A whole bunch more of those little double hook clips. This would be a lot easier if I could open the door all the way. But we are getting into the fall. It's mid-September right now as I'm filming this, which means that here in Seattle it is going to rain every day until next July. So I need to work in the garage. Alright, so that's that, and then because this is not all the way around, it's not a complete loop, you can, in theory, cram this back through here past this little hard stop that keeps you from overextending your door. And again, this would be easier if I had the clearance to swing the whole car door open, but I'm going to manage. Alright. Trim is off. We have to take off this window seal piece. So on the front doors, we just have the one screw here, I believe. That's a very unique looking little screw. Put that in my bag with the other door and mirror screws. And then this should just slide out. I will be replacing this piece because it's a little bit worn out. Slides right off. Got that out of there. And then one other thing to point out while I'm in here, a piece that is, I would say, worth replacing if you're going to do this whole job. We've got these little brush pieces. There's two here and one here, and these attach to the door. Over time, the little brush bristles just get permanently compressed, and what you end up with, oh yeah, there's two here, two on the outside, two on the inside. The brush bristles get kind of permanently deformed, and as a result, your window will jiggle like this, and then because it's not kind of located precisely, that outer seal will sometimes open up a gap, and rainwater can go down into that and get into your door, which is not great. So I'm going to replace these with brand new ones. You can still get these new from Subaru. They're not that expensive. For now, I am going to leave them in because I don't care if they get paint on them, and I don't want the window to jiggle around and hit the metal stuff on the inside of the door, but I will be replacing these when I put the car back together. Alright, I just keep finding things on this front door that I need to remove that I forgot to remove. We gotta get these little white clips off of here. Okay, there is an easy trick after all. You just stick your screwdriver behind the clip, like so. Get it in there decently far, and then turn the screwdriver, and that will release it. You got a little clip here that's clipping onto a little thing in there. Just stick the screwdriver in behind and twist. Easy. I want to take this triangular thing off. I already took one of the screws off on the inside, thinking that I was removing the mirror. So there's one on the inside and then these two on the outside. Yeah, the downside to this thing is it doesn't have a lot of torque. Sometimes it works great. Oh. Extremely short screw, or did I break it off? I think it's just an extremely short screw. Okay, yep, it's super small. If my memory serves me right, this is actually really hard to get off. There's the one screw there, one there, two out here. It's gonna be this. It must be. Mercifully, that one comes off very easily. Okay. There's that. So you gotta push the little stud in. Use something. Oh, yeah, and I got the black stuff on my leg. Love it. Just gonna push that in before I start to work it upwards. Oh, God, this is not a good system. Why would you put a stud there? That's just dumb. Okay. Okay, that is just dumb. That's a bad design. Alright, rear door. very similar to the front door. We got a little plastic hatch down here covering up the bottom of the screw. It's down there, and then we got one behind this handle cover thing. These are really useful too, by the way. Silicone mat, it's kind of sticky. Good place to store a bunch of tools. You can move them around with you as you move around the car. Gotta get a pick in this one because the screwdriver wasn't cutting it. And there goes that little guy. I don't know why they had to get so cute with these. You can't even see them. Just leave the screw exposed. Nobody's ever gonna notice. Alright, and then one difference on this door is that we actually have a little retaining clip here that we need to release. I think that should be pretty much it. I am gonna try to do this one right the first time, so I think I'm gonna try to pop this little cover off. I'm gonna take this off because that's gonna have a connector, which will probably be very painful to remove, because of course it will. It's probably not squeezing the black thing. So you know what it is? It's that little tab in that window, I bet you. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Oh, hello. Alright. Looks like we didn't break anything. Bottom one comes out easy. Work our way around. And we are off. That was actually very easy compared to the front one. Well, I've been hemming and hawing about whether I'm going to remove this plastic sheet. And then also, am I going to reinstall it after I get the car back from paint? And I am actually thinking I'm actually going to do both, which I don't love, but it's not that bad. I just have to find a place to store this messy, sticky piece of plastic, because I know I'm going to get the black sticky residue all over everything, and it's going to want to fold in half and get stuck to itself and make an even bigger mess. That's just how these things go. And I probably could just cut around the speaker here, but no, it's not that bad. It's just 3 screws. I'm going to go ahead and just do it. Careful you don't puncture your speaker like I almost just did there. Okay, so this will go out. And then I think I can just kind of cram that back through the plastic once I get it off. Probably stretch enough, so just gonna start gently peeling it back. shove that through there. Perfect. Look at that wonderful mess. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up with probably some paper towels, and of course I've got it on me already. Let's get this extra black crud off of here. I suppose it would be smart to go find some replacement, whatever the hell this adhesive crud is, to help me get the plastic back on when I get the car back. But I'm not sure what it's called, so I gotta do some research. Okay, that's probably good enough for now. See, it sticks to you when you don't want it to, but it never sticks to things when you want it to, huh? Now I'm gonna put the speaker back in. Probably just use like 2 of the screws. Okay, so now we got to do the door handle. We do a couple things. We got to take off the rubber trim. This is very similar to the front one. You pull a plug there, you pull one here. Not too bad. Remove this one the same way we did the other. Pull up, lift away, pull down. Got our rubber out of there. I'm just gonna push those little pins right back into the rubber because they seem happy to stay put. Today I learned you can't roll the window up in the back window from the front if the back controller isn't connected, so it doesn't matter. Let's see if we can get to these bolts. Let's see. So I'm getting the handle off now. One of the bolts is very easy. It's right there in front of you. Just see it right through the window there. The other one is going to be a real pain. It's way back in there and you can't really see it. It's actually going to be more of a pain to get it back on, really. Okay, and then you can actually just pry this off and you can see the bolt straight through there. Okay, the window is very small actually, but I think I can fit my 1/4 inch drive ratchet. And that might even come out the window with the socket. Yes, look at that. Alright, so then we should be good to remove the handle, which is going to involve disconnecting one of those little clips. Oh, that just pulled right out. Okay, well, that's easy then. Okay, no, there's just a lever. You can just push a lever down and that opens it. Alright, so we're good there. I'm going to leave this connected because I know paint shop is going to need to roll that up and down. Alright, next we got to get this trim piece off. This one actually has 2 screws, front and back. Take those off of there, and then this should just slide off like the front one did. Yeah, it's just got to pull it harder. Oh, what is that? Oh, there's a cap thing on the end. Okay, I see it now. It's got these bits that are stuck into the ends. That's got to come out. There we go. Alright. It's got one on the other side too, but I'm not bothered with that one. Alright. Like that. Just got this same clip out here like we did in the front. Use my advanced screwdriver technique. A little bit harder since the window doesn't come all the way down. And there she is. And we are done on the back. So another thing you're going to want to do, which I don't show in this video because I didn't do it, is take all the windows out of your doors, which sucks, but you should do it. If you don't do it, the paint shop is going to do it for you. And if they don't do it, then they are going to get paint on the windows, almost certainly. Taking the windows out, they have two little studs down at the base, just a little threaded stud. Take the nut off, and then the window itself has to be kind of finagled a little bit to get it to come out. It doesn't just come straight up and out. I'm sure you can find some videos on YouTube showing how to take the windows out. My second tip is that if you're going to get your windows retinted or tinted in the first place, you may be thinking, oh, well, once I've got the windows out, I'll just get them tinted while they're out. That way they can tint the whole thing. This is bad advice. Don't do that. Tint shops prefer to have the windows in the car. They're used to working that way. It's harder for them to put the tint on if the window is loose. So put the windows back in, then get them tinted, then put your doors back together in that order. If you do get them tinted while they're out of the car, you're going to scratch the tint when you put them back in the car too. Ask me how I know. So I'm not going to show how you take this trim piece off here. I've had it off for months. I didn't want to put it back on knowing that I was going to get the car painted, but it's really easy. It's just got some clips on the underside that you pull out. They're just like a really big version of the same crappy little ones that you find everywhere with the ring and then the little thing you push into the middle. Alright, up next we have window seals. So we've got this very large trim piece that goes all the way across from front to back. We have this little pillar, B-pillar trim piece, which I'm going to go ahead and take off first. I believe these just snap off, like it just pries off. Oh, that's not something breaking. Yep, there we go. Alright. Now, did that break anything? It did break something. It broke a little snap. Okay. I don't love that. I hear more snapping. I'm going to have to buy some clips, aren't I? Just really don't want to damage this thing because I don't want to have to replace it too. Oh, God. Broke that one too. Okay. Yeah, okay, so broke that one off, broke that one off, this one stayed intact. This one I broke this piece, that's not great. Alright, well I guess I'm buying a new one of these. You've learned by watching me a way to do this that doesn't work well. So that's something. I'm gonna go look up these little blue clips and trim piece itself. I'm guessing the trim piece just comes with the clips. Come on, get out of there. Okay. So I believe that's actually the hardest part of this whole thing. So this, it's got a couple clips, at least one, similar to the ones on the door where they're stripping. And I gotta use the right tool for the job. If you don't have one of these, highly recommend. Easy peasy. Presumably one on this side too, but it is, looks like it's pulled through. So I may look and see if I can just get a new seal, because honestly this car is 18 years old. That's retained by this cover that I'm going to probably take off anyway. I'll come back for that one, but I don't need to deal with it right now because I think those are the only two spots where this is actually firmly attached. Maybe. Anyway, so this part at least just pulls out. So to get the upper part off, you do have to pull this out. And that's easy, it's just tucked in there. And then this one is fitted into a metal channel. Looks like I might be able to just slide it up and out. So I'll pull this out of here if I can. Yep, that just comes out. That should just come out here as well, but I'm gonna save that till after I get this upper one off. All right. Okay, yep. Let's just take this clip out down here. Probably can't see that. Anyway, there's another one of these little clips down here on the trim. This piece seems like a real mystery, but then you take the rubber seal off and it just exposes all these little baby screws. And they come out very easy. I am replacing this one because it has damage up front from one of the crashes, so I've already removed one of these from a donor car. Don't know if you can still get one new from Subaru, but if you could, I bet the shipping would be absolutely horrific, so I do recommend a donor car if you need a new one. Okay, all the screws are now out, and we got to get this part off. This is, I believe, attached to a plastic bracket underneath, and it's another one of those fun instances of just unfortunately pulling on it, I believe. It doesn't want to go up or down, so I think it has to come out. I don't love this. Hate that. Hate that that's how that works. Alright. So that just snaps onto it must just be these little metal tabs here. Snap it onto this gray thing, which I'm going to also take off. I'm going to set this aside for now. Yep, that was the right call. Of course, the other one's a lot harder to get a thing behind. Might have to use a regular screwdriver on that. Yep. So there's that. Alright. We're doing kind of okay so far. This one has just got... There was another button actually hidden behind the rubber I didn't see. So there was that there. Now let's see about getting this middle portion out. So the upper portion has been freed. And doesn't really want to slide. There's no obvious screw holes. Just peel that out of there. Wow, that is going to suck to reinstall. Okay, I guess I'll put some soapy water on it or something. I hope for the best. Okay. Now we just got to free up this end, which I'm guessing there's just one more little push pin thingy back here, which I probably should have done first. Indeed there is. And it's out. So with that, our rubber piece is off. I'm not sure if this piece needs to come off, but I'm just going to go ahead and take it off for good measure, because why not? All the screws are right here, and I think they're even the exact same ones as the window trim. How nice is that? It's like you can tell one engineer did all of this design. They just decided to use the same screw everywhere, and then you go to a different part of the car and he's using a different kind of screw everywhere. There's that. And then we need to do these press-on edge trim things, but those are retained by this cover, so we'll get to that in a minute. Interior plastic pieces. I'm going to start with these lower kick plate thingies. Probably should use a plastic tool for this, but I can't really hardly see down there, so I don't care that much. There's another clip back here normally, but mine's missing, so that's easy. And then this just pulls up. This is actually really easy. That comes right off like that. And then we got this B-pillar cover. This one's a little tricky. I guess not. I was gonna say because the seatbelt goes through it, but it doesn't. This one I want to say is just snaps, like you can just snap it out of there. Just pry it. Yeah. So that's pretty easy. I'll get this interior piece off of here while I'm at it. I think that one is easier if you got the seat out. Let's see if I can do it without taking the seat off just yet. No, that really wants the seat to come off, so I guess I'm taking the seat off. Alright, rear seat, pretty easy. We've got just 2 bolts down here. 12mm socket. Break that loose. There's the other one. Put our impact on there. There's the first bolt. And the second. And it just comes right out. It's just kind of hooked on to these pieces of wire. There's a little hook that it engages with. And the upper one has got 4 screws. This one's a little bit tricky because you have to worry about the seat belts. So just the middle seat belt. Pull that out. Gonna tuck it around the outside here. Make that a bit easier to deal with. You just gotta lift. It's got a couple of things it catches on back here. Get that seatbelt out of the way. Just finagle this right out of here. And then I'm just gonna thread these screws back in a couple turns. I don't want to have to keep track of them separately. Alright, now let's keep working on getting this plastic trimmer off of here. I just got one little tab there, one little push connect plug thingy. Take that off of there. I'm just going to stick this into that hole for safekeeping. I don't know what that is. Take you out of here. Now we've got our lower B-pillar cover. There is a little clip here. Use our removal tool. That guy out of there if we can. Okay, there's the middle bit. And the rest comes out. There like that. And then this piece can be snapped. That. move this seat forward. Give myself some clearance to work with. And then pull that right out. There's this little piece of foam. The base, don't lose that. Looks like that probably goes right about there. This piece has got a screw kind of hidden away down at the bottom. It's loose. Yeah, okay, there's another screw back there. Piece comes off. I'm gonna find where that screw dropped. There we go. And then I'm just gonna thread that in too. Right now, upper trim pieces. These have seat belts that actually do pass through them, so we do need to remove this piece so we can get that off. I probably don't strictly need to take this off, but I'm not going to chance it, and that is actually a 14mm socket there. I think this will just pull off. I don't see any obvious way that it's held on, but I think I'm going to work on taking this exterior upper trim piece off first. And this just pulls off gently. It's a lot easier towards the back than the front. It's wedged on there a little bit better. But I think that's gonna come off just fine. Yeah. Easy peasy. Alright, back to this piece. Feeling around in there. Yep, I'm just gonna pull on that. It's just a single big snap, and then another one. Pretty good design. And then there's this plastic inner piece, which I am going to leave alone. And then I gotta reattach the seat belt so that I can drive the car to the paint shop. And then I'm not going to mess with the headliner. Alright, next I'm going to do this mud guard. My original one was missing when I bought the car, along with most of the front end. So I bought an aftermarket one, so mine is held on with different style clips than yours probably are. But this is pretty straightforward. You just go around and remove every clip you can find. I think there's a single screw at the top normally. Mine's empty. But yeah, this is pretty easy. This tool is not useful most of the time because you just can't get it in there. But sometimes it does. You find a case where it can be helpful. Alright, got that one off. And then I'm going to put this crappy wheel that I have on the car. I'm gonna put my backup set of wheels on it just in case the paint shop decides to get some paint on my rims. I'd rather it not be on my very expensive brand new in case. These are ugly as hell, but functional. Now of course if you have your original mud covers down here, undercarriage covers, you'll need to remove those too, which is just a bunch of plastic snaps around the rim, but mine is missing and I might not ever replace it, so I'm not worrying about that. So we got to take the headlights, the grille, and these little side pieces off. So we got to start with these little infill pieces. Got 2 clips on top. And then the grill can come off. You can still get these new from Subaru, and they're not that expensive. The top ones aren't so bad. There's a little button you push inside this hole, and you got to kind of keep some tension on it so that it separates and doesn't just snap right back on. There's like a little tab in this hole. Yeah, there we go. And then we gotta remove these little covers. We've just got another little plastic trim piece, trim fastener thingy down here. Comes right off and comes right off. Always a joy. Next up, headlights. Relatively easy. We need to disconnect 2 connectors on the back of the headlight. Squeeze and pull and hate your life. Upper one, lower one is, if I recall, not quite as bad. I'm trying to remember how it actually comes out. You gotta lift this little finger here. And actually that one on the other side is a iWire replacement one, because the one that I got it with was all jacked up. This is the OEM style, and you just push this button. Of course, it's actually harder to get this one off. Alright, and then removing the headlight physically, you've got 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, 10mm socket. I can just kind of finagle this out of here. I believe those are the only 3 attachment points. So this should come out. Always likes to fight you a little bit. There we go. Fog lights, 3 screws, 10mm socket. You want to use 1/4" drive tools for this, because they're right up against the fog light. Another connector. Pain in the ass. Alright, so I learned that all these black pieces, trim pieces, are not removable. They are integral to the bumper. They cannot be removed. So you really have no choice but to mask them or just have the whole bumper painted. Anyway, I gotta put the bumper back on now. Alright, up next, hood scoop, and really trunk prep or hood prep in general. I am going to be replacing this hood with a different one before I get this sent out for paint, but I'm going to take the hood scoop off right now just because this is where it's going to be if you're removing yours. On mine I've got this aftermarket diffuser piece, but I think the OEM comes apart more or less the same way. You really just need a 8mm socket, and you just go around and remove every screw you can find. Some of them are hidden behind the thermal blanket thing. And if yours is like mine, you're missing a bunch of these screws, which makes the process even easier. And I've got the intercooler sprayer, so I gotta disconnect the hose here. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to cut it. It's not gonna come off without getting damaged. Well, yeah, it's got a little cut in it. So I'll cut the end off before I reinstall it, and then while I'm at it, I'm just gonna deal with the washer sprayers, windshield washer. Much easier. Did I get all the screws? I wonder if there's one hiding under here. There is. Okay. So there's the diffuser off. And then the hood scoop itself, again, it's just 8mm. So I'll get a bunch of nuts that go onto the studs. And there are plastic snaps that will hang on even when all the nuts are removed. These you can just squeeze and push through. Helps to use some pliers. That should lift right off, and it does. Next up, we have this cowl panel. I've removed these a couple times, but it's been a while, so I'm a little rusty. You do have to remove the wiper arms, both of them first. These are just held on with one nut each. There's a rubber cap, which just pops right off, hiding the nut. That looks like a 12 or maybe a 14. Yeah, probably 14. Of course, that doesn't want to budge, and I'm really trying not to break the wiper motor here. There we go. And yes, I keep hitting my head on this. I don't have a better place to keep it. Now, the thing to be aware of with the wipers is that they can go back on at any angle you want, so you really got to make sure when you put them back on that you get the angle right. Now, if I was just removing them to fix something else and put them right back on, I'd probably put some tape on the windshield to mark where the wiper blades are at. But the windshield is getting replaced as part of the paint job, so I'm just going to take a few pictures. And that way I can have a slightly less miserable experience getting these back on at the right angle when I put it back together. These are just on a spline shaft, I believe, so you can just pull them off. They will be fighting you because this is sprung down into the windshield. Or just, fighting you in general. And if I'm remembering right, you just have to be patient with these and keep... Yep, there it goes. Keep working at it, that's what I was going to say. Can't lift that one easily. This one's quite a bit worse than the other one. There we go. Now the cowl panel. I need to refresh my memory as to how this comes off. Okay, as I could have guessed, this one you just pull off. Be careful with this trim piece because it is held on there with these little clips. They're very similar to the ones that hold the door seals on, and they are just like barely engaged with this seal on mine. In fact, it looks like it's been torn. But yeah, you just pull on it, and it's just held in with a whole mess of little snaps. Oh, yeah, that's just popped right off. I may replace this. I bet you can still get this new for about $10. Should be able to remove the cowl now. and there will be a whole bunch of crap accumulated under it. Getting it actually out, I don't remember being that hard, but there we go. So you never seen in there before. This is what your wiper motors look like on the front. Of course, it's disgusting. I am going to vacuum it out. I'm not going to spend a lot of time cleaning it because I'm not expecting a lot of paint to get down here to be worried about it sticking to anything. Alright, rear wheels. These don't have a mud guard in them, so I don't have to worry about that. But we do have a couple of small trim pieces that I'm going to take off. So first we've got this one on the corner. In theory that pops out when you turn the thing, but in practice I don't really like to. This might be my least favorite kind of clip they use. One there, and then there's one down here. There's that little guy. Kind of pointless little thing. I don't know if I'll put it back on. Probably, but it's worth considering just keeping it off. Alright, and then we have this back one. The rear bumper is attached by one clip under here to this. I think this is just attached in these two spots. How much do I care about this piece? I don't think I care enough, honestly. Oh, that's gonna hurt leaving that on there. I'm gonna leave that on there. I'm not gonna mess with it on further thought. So I'll just put these snaps back in. I noticed one other thing as I was putting this wheel on. There's one more little rubber trim piece right there. It's not super obvious, but this is actually its own separate piece, and I discovered mine had a crack and some damage in it. And so I looked it up, and these are still available new from Subaru. They're not super cheap. They're also hard to find the part number, but I did manage to find it actually. Asked ChatGPT, which I didn't really expect to work, but after like 30 seconds it totally pointed me at least in the right direction. So this one's in bad shape. I'm just going to rip it off because it's broken, and I'm not going to worry too much about it. The other one is pretty much flawless, but because I'm removing the one, I'm going to remove the other. And hopefully I can get the new parts in time to get them to the paint shop and get them all painted at once. I'm kind of worried that they might take a week or two to get here and they might miss the boat, but we're going to find out. So unfortunately this one just pulls off, and yeah, you're probably going to break it when you do this. It just cracked right there. Yep, this is really not really meant to come off. I can see it's got some kind of seal on here that I'm going to have to peel off. Good times. Probably use some kind of plastic trim tool to slide under it to do this a little bit more elegantly, but I don't have a good one handy, so I'm just gonna go caveman on it. Well, I got the driver's side one off without breaking it into multiple pieces, but all the little trim clips are integral to it and they all broke off. So I should say most of them, a lot of them. This one only one broke off. The other one is just destroyed, but this one we still have intact clips on. Looks like 5 of the 6, so that might actually be good enough. And the next thing I got to do is try to get these little clips out. If they don't have a broken off tab in them, they come out pretty easy. Just gotta be careful they don't drop into the car, because then you're never getting them out. That one's got the broken off tab in it, and then I got one there, and then these two came out all in one piece. Well, I'm like 95% done with this, and I just discovered that I've totally got some trim tool things in one of my toolbox drawers, so love that. This is slightly less miserable, actually quite a bit less miserable than using my fingernails. Okay, no, this still sucks. So something else I should have done is, it turns out there's a screw back here, tail pointing towards me, 10mm socket. If you remove that, then the bumper pulls out pretty nicely, and the little tab you're going to find here that's probably broken off will come right out. If the bumper is fully installed, there's no way to get that piece off, and this bottom end of this trim piece, you have to break it to get it out. So don't do what I did. Pull this out first, and then you'll have a better shot of getting this thing off intact. Alright, and then I think this is actually the last piece I have to take off. I don't really have to take it off, but it's easy enough to remove this rear diffuser piece. It's just got 5 bolts that are via a 12mm socket. Just break all those loose and then hit them with the old DeWalt. When you're working underneath the car like this, you always want to wear glasses because shit is going to fall in your eyeballs otherwise. Ask me how I know this. There goes a piece right there. Tried to fall into my eyeball. And down she comes. Alright, working on the new hood. Got to get the wiper fluid sprayers off. Start by removing the hose. Fortunately, that is just coming right off. Okay, then we got to get this thermal blanket thing off of here. Hopefully these just pry out. And it broke. And they're probably all going to do that. Well, some of them are just coming out without leaving a piece behind. Alright. Scrape that off, leave that on there, and then I need to wash it. Actually, we got a couple of rubber pieces up front here that need to come off. And these will be easy, I think. And these clips are slightly different, and some of them are coming right out, and some of them are breaking. So I think I will have to order a few of these. And I might just order more of these gaskets while I'm at it. Okay, that is working perfectly. It's the easiest residue I've removed so far on this project. Got these little bumpers here, just come right out, just gently pry that, comes out. We do have 2 of these rubber doodads here. Let's see if these want to come out or not. Yeah, they actually come right out. Okay. I don't know what that does, but alright. Little piece of plastic there. Okay, now I think I just need to wash it on the underside. So you probably won't have to mess with this, but I obviously have replaced this trunk lid with a different one. And the gap is quite a bit wider on the right than the left. And the body shop has told me they will not be taking this off, so if I want a consistent gap, it is on me. Alright, so this actually turned out to be a lot more work than I was expecting. What I ended up having to do is not only grind the hole and the slot, or I should say the hole and the slot, on both sides of this tube by several millimeters that way to enable the hood to move, or the trunk lid to move that way, and do the same with this one, and slot this round hole to allow the hood to move back so that this edge would line up with here properly. But even with all of that, it still wasn't closing right, and I realized that the problem is that the hood is still locating itself based on the latch to the striker here, and so in order to make the hood move that way, you have to actually move this latch mechanism that way or move the striker that way. So I picked the latch, and what I did is unbolt it. It's just two 12mm socket screws here. I unbolted that came out. It was able to come out completely because I've removed the lock cylinder and the emergency release handle. So then I pulled that out, and then I slotted this a lot more than I thought I would have to, basically as far as I possibly could, until the bolt head hits this flange here, which enabled me to move this latch a few millimeters that way. So now the end result of all this, finally, that out of there, is that my hood sits, trunk lid I should say, I keep saying hood, trunk lid, sits pretty close to perfect. This is flush, my gap looks good here, it's a little bit wider here, but I don't mind, it's decently wide here. And then this one is about the same as that one. It's in fact a tiny bit narrower, so I've overcorrected a tiny bit, but I don't really care. Just glancing at it, you can't tell. And I'm quite pleased with the result. So that part is done. Alright, it's all ready to go. It took me a week, actually. Mainly because I work full time, and I can't just be working on the car all day every day, but chipping away at it every night after work and putting in all day last Sunday and then yesterday, this Saturday. We got her all prepped. The car has not been this clean since the day it left the factory, and I'm just praying that it does not rain tomorrow, because I have to drive it all the way up to Everett, which is about a half hour on the freeway. Well, we're at the end of the year now. It's a couple days before New Year's, and here it is, all done. Still got a few things to take care of. I'm waiting for the paint to finish curing so that I can get it professionally cut and polished. Need to get this back window tint situation fixed. Need to rebadge it once the paint is finished. And it's a little dirty. Overall, I am completely stoked and pleased with how it turned out. It was worth all the work. I don't know if I'd do it all over again, but it was a great life experience, and now I'm driving my dream car. Alright folks, well that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found something in this video useful and interesting. I know this is a little bit different than a lot of the content that's on my channel otherwise, things like gardening and 3D printing. Well, it turns out I'm also a car guy, so you might see more videos like this from me in the future. I'd appreciate it if you could drop me a like on this video, and if you had any comments about stuff you saw in the video, stuff it seems like I was doing it wrong, you would have done it differently. I'd appreciate it if you could hop down to the comments and let me know. And as everyone always asks, it'd be great if you could also hit that subscribe button. Anyway, that's about it, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.